From the 45th parallel in northern Michigan, this is Geek of the North, your weekly look at the offbeat side of technology. Here's your host, Mike Dell, the Geek of the North.
And from a squeaky chair in Northwest Michigan, I am the aforementioned Michael Dell. How's it going? Welcome to Geek of the North, number 24, and thanks for carving out time to listen to little old me here on the podcast. Let's see, Geek of the North is brought to you today by me, and also my new business, Bunadello Marketing. Yeah, it's a funny name. I'll tell you about it someday, but go check it out over at bunadello.com. I'll have links in the show notes. There we go. Anyway, got a few good stories today. Nothing too earth-shattering this week. Kind of a slow news week, I guess. Here, well, 2 weeks, I guess. Kind of skipped last week, but I'll get on track here sooner or later. Got the new equipment in, so if you're watching the video, which I will try not to mention all the time, but if you're watching the video, you should notice a noticeable improvement in quality and lighting, maybe. And the audio quality probably shouldn't be too bad either. So anyway, let's get on with the show here. Let's see. First up is some news in the aviation world. The new Boeing 747-8 made its 10-hour flight from Everett, Washington to the French capital and the Paris Air Show. Let's see, it's a really quiet flight over, so on and so forth, he says. But anyway, it's quite a nice plane, and I'll have links in the show notes. Of course, they've got it all set up experimentally. If you look at the cabin picture they've got a whole bunch of orange wires strewn about and a bunch of test equipment and whatnot. And that's pretty typical for experimental aircraft. Of course, the Dash 8 should be delivering here pretty soon. It doesn't say in the story when it will go, but anyway, the Paris Air Show is ongoing, and should get some pretty cool news out of that. There always is. There's always good videos too. So go check out the site. That's from CNET News. Let's see, we got in transportation still there. Japan is finally got approval for their new maglev track that they're going to try to retake the world's record passenger train speed from the Chinese. China's Singal Transrapid maglev train managed to get a top speed of 501 kilometers per hour. That's around 311 miles per hour. But Japan, once they get their maglev going on, is looking for 581 kilometers per hour, or about 360 miles per hour. They're going to take commuters between Tokyo and Osaka, and it'll probably be, let's see, what is that, about 320 miles, it says. It should take about 2 hours and 25 minutes and cost quite a fair bit more than, taking the regular train. Let's see, the project was originally proposed in the 70s, but due to astronomical costs of 9 trillion yen, or about $112 billion, project was kept on indefinite hold until just recently. So anyway, of course, that's not going to happen really soon. It's going to be 2045 when they get this thing done. But in 2027, what would that be? 16 years from now, the Japan Railway will be launching a route from Tokyo to Nagoya. I guess that's a shorter route. So anyway, check out the Japan's maglev train over at ubergizmo.com. Kind of thought that was pretty cool. And let's see. Oh, hey, along with all this new equipment that I've been getting, one of the toys and tools that I picked up was a 27-inch iMac. Got the new quad-core i5, and so far so good. And I got the Adobe Master Collection software, which means I'm going to be doing the audio in Audition, the video in Premiere. So I'm learning Premiere. So yeah, the video may not be perfect to start with, but I'll get better as I learn. I've been taking courses over at lynda.com for both Audition and Premiere. Of course, that comes with Photoshop and Illustrator and all that, so hopefully I can get my graphics up to speed, and it should be a lot of fun. But I bring that up because over at GigaOM, they're talking about the Lion upgrade for Macintosh, which will be out, I believe, next month sometime. Yeah, sometime in July, it says. But they're wondering if Lion's going to be too fat, too big of a download. Maybe about 4 gigs. I don't know. It didn't bother me when I downloaded, get this, 11 gigabytes to get the Adobe software, and that didn't take too awful long, and it wasn't too painful. So I don't think Lion's going to be too bad, but if you have trouble with Lion, you can take your Mac over to the Mac store and get on their free Wi-Fi to download it. Even if you got an iMac, you can haul it down there and it's got Wi-Fi. Or they might even let you plug into a cord. You never know. But, there's ways of getting it if you don't have that great a high speed at home. I'm lucky here. I've got 20 megs down, 1 meg up through the cable company. As long as it stays up and running, it usually does. Been, knock on wood, fairly reliable over the years. But anyway, over at GigaOM, they were worried, is that too big of a download? And speaking of other big downloads, one of the things I was thinking about getting was this Final Cut Pro that came out today, it says. Excuse me, I'm getting over the creeping crud. I don't know what it is about this spring. Well, it's actually officially summer. In fact, it's officially summer here in the Northern Hemisphere, and for those of you down under, happy winter. Anyway. Apple released their Final Cut Pro X, or Pro 10. They skipped 8 and 9, I guess, but they're going to make it a lot cheaper. It's going to be $299.99 instead of the $1,000 that it was before. I don't know if, because Final Cut Studio is what cost the $1,000. I don't know what the. Here. Final Cut also comes with 2 accessory programs: Motion 5 for professional motion graphics and Compressor 4 for media encoding. Oh, no, it doesn't come with it. You have to pay $49.99. Well, it's still not bad, though, compared to what it was. So for under $500, you can get pretty much the Final Cut Pro Studio. Like I said, I was originally going to go with that, but it looks like Premiere is going to do the trick. So I spend another $500, I guess, and have another big download. Darn it. Darn frogs in my throat. But anyway, let's see. Oh, hey, today's an anniversary of sorts. Spaceship One reached space 7 years ago today. And Spaceship One was the first privately financed aircraft to leave Earth's atmosphere and reach the edge of space. With civilian test pilot Mike Medville at the control, Spaceship One was released by its carrier craft and fired its hybrid rocket motors to an altitude of 47,000 feet over California's Mojave Desert. As Medville steered the ship outside the atmosphere, he spent about 3 minutes in weightlessness. Spaceship One reached an altitude of 62 miles, or 100 kilometers, putting it into suborbital space. there were some damage to the spaceship, and it landed without incident on the same runway at which it had taken off 90 minutes earlier. So anyway, it won the whatever that award was to get an airplane. I can't remember now. Doesn't say here what that award was, but they spent way more money than what the award was. I think the award was $10 million, and I think they spent way more than that getting that airplane up there. But here pretty soon, you'll be able to buy a ticket on that type of craft. Richard Branson and Virgin, I guess it's going to be called Virgin Galactic, is going to sell seats on, I don't know, I think it's Spaceship 2, or I don't know what the new one is, but they're going to have 3 or 4 of them, I guess, but it's going to be around $100,000. I don't know if I want to spend $100,000 for 3 minutes of weightlessness. I can get that for a whole lot cheaper if I just talk my buddy into taking me up in a Cessna, and we'll do some loop-de-doos. No, probably not. So anyway, and hey, the main thing this coming up week in the Geek of the North world anyway is Ham Radio Field Day. And for those unfamiliar with that, it's a on-the-air contest of sorts. Let's see, let me read the official American Radio Relay League overview. The ARRL Field Day is the single most popular on-the-air event held annually in the U.S. and Canada each year. Over 35,000 amateurs gather with their clubs, friends, or simply by themselves to operate. ARRL Field Day is not a fully adjudicated contest, which explains much of its popularity. Yeah, contests can be kind of strange. Maybe I'll talk about that sometime. The objective is to work as many stations as possible on any and all amateur bands, excluding the 60, the 30, the 17, and the 12-meter bands. And those are what's known as work bands. But anyway, all the traditional ham bands, 160, 80, 75, 20, 15, 10, 6, 2, 440, and so on, up the bands, are eligible. Let's see, Field Day is open to all amateurs in the areas covered by the ARRL field organizations and the Radio Amateurs Canada field organizations in countries within IARU Region 2. Anyways, and what it boils down to is Field Day, just like what it says. We go out in the field. We don't. If you look, if you're on the video, if you look behind me, you'll see a stack of equipment next to the audio rack. And that's my ham radio HF station. Part of it, anyway. You can't see the amplifier under the desk, but normally I just sit here and turn the desk chair around and turn on the radio and pick up the microphone and tune things up, and I can talk all over the world. And, I've got my antennas outside and a tower and all that stuff, all the comforts of home. Well, on Field Day, we don't do that. Field Day, there's different classes of stations. I'll explain that too. But on Field Day, most groups that get together, and I go with a group out in Benzie County, the Benzie Amateur Friends, or Benzie Amateur Radio Friends, otherwise known as BARF, B-A-R-F, anyway. We go out to a park in downtown Beulah, Michigan, or Benzonia, there we go, Benzonia, Michigan, next to Beulah, Michigan. But anyway, we go out in this park, and we have the Sheriff's Department Emergency Command Post vehicle out there, and then a couple of us bring our campers, and we set up 3 different HF stations. We, take a bow and arrow and fire a fish line up in the trees and pull antenna wires up in the trees, and we run off of generators and batteries, since we don't have official 110 volt power. And we take our radios and and just set up in the field. And for 24 hours, I think it starts at 2 p.m. on Saturday, it goes through 2 p.m. on Sunday. For 24 hours, we see how many stations we can contact. And what you do is you exchange your designator, which is a class designator. So like for our station, we're going to have 3 HF radios on the air. So our first digit of our class would be 3. And since we're going to be running on emergency power, we're class A. So it's 3A. And then we give our ARRL or RAC section designator. It happens that Michigan is a section all by itself. So what we would say is this is W8BNZ 3 Alpha Michigan. 3 Alpha Michigan. And that's the exchange that you do, and that's what the other people would write down or put in their logging software so that confirms the contact and that the contact was good enough to exchange that information. And we do that for 24 hours, and you get certain points. Like if you do it on Morse code, you get 2 points per contact. If you do it on voice, it's 1 point per contact. You get special points for VIPs that show up. Like we sent letters to all the county commissioners, the city fathers, the sheriff, and he always shows up. He's a friend of ours. But, any of these VIPs that show up, we get extra points. The American Radio Relay League puts out a bulletin just before field day starts, and if you copy down that bulletin, you can take points for that. It's 100 extra points. We get points for each visitor that shows up at our field day location. So the whole idea is to get out in the public, let amateur radio be known by the public. And like I said, we set up in a big public park, so we get people stopping by, and we get them to sign our guest book, and we get extra points for that. And then along about September, after it's all done, and all the organizations and individuals get their logs in, so there's a listing printed in QST, which is a magazine, which is basically the American Radio Relay League newsletter, although it's a 400-page magazine usually, and it's one of the few magazines that are doing really well. But each class has the top stations in their class, and it's kind of bragging rights. We do fairly well for a 3 Alpha station. We're not like hardcore contesters. There's a couple of hardcore contesters in the group that they spend all night and they just work 200-300 people. I usually like to set up my PSK31, which is a digital mode, works off a laptop. I'll usually set that up in the wee hours and work PSK31 stations, and I tend to get between 50 and 100 on 3 or 4 hour period, and that that helps out. Those are 2 point contacts because they're not voice. And we also have what's known as a GOTA station, GOTA, get on the air, and that's a station for novices and technicians to get on the upper bands from 6 meters, 2 meters, so on. We usually just have 6 meters and 2 meters. And one year we tried to do satellite, didn't make any contacts that way, but we have that station. That's going to be our third HF station's also going to be the GOTA station. And anyway, it's ARRL field day. As you're driving around on Saturday and Sunday, if you see a bunch of people hanging out in public places with campers or on picnic tables with wires strung all over the place and all that's what's going on. So that'll be happening. Supposed to only be Saturday and Sunday. Some clubs go out and set up on Friday. I guess that's allowed to a certain extent, but anyway. But yeah, you should be able to, if you're interested, look around your local area. And more than likely, there'll be at least one ham group that is going to be doing field day. So anyway, I guess that'll do it for this episode of Geek of the North. I appreciate you watching and or listening. It's kind of, I've got two cameras going here, and I don't know which one to look at. Darn it. Okay, I got to stop talking about the video. Anyway, I look forward to next week, and I am going to do it on a weekly basis for sure now. It's on my schedule, written in stone. I did all the show prep Monday night, and this is Tuesday morning, and I will edit the video this afternoon and get the video and the audio up, so it should still be out on Tuesday. Thanks for listening. By the way, the Geek of the North is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. Of course, I think my wife said that too at the beginning or at the end or both. But hey, got to get that in there. Go over and check them out. techpodcasts.com. And you'll find all kinds of techie-related podcasts over there. And it's a really great community of tech podcasters. And we're all family safe. That's the other thing. You don't have to worry about listening to one of our shows at work or around your kids. That's the whole idea of the Tech Podcast Network. So anyway, catch me later.
This has been a production of Geek of the North Network. Geek of the North is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. If you have any comments, questions, or a story idea, let us know by giving us a call at 231-715-1366 or email geekofthenorth@gmail.com. You can also leave a comment at our webpage at www.geekofthenorth.com.